Today, our topic is changing judgment to curiosity when we eat off plan. And that is so important for us in order for us to have lasting weight loss. Because if we are judging ourselves all the way to our weight loss goals, how long really are we going to want to continue at those practices if we're judging ourselves all the way there? We aren't going to want to stay there. So changing from judgment to curiosity is what we're going to talk about today. And let's see if I can find all my notes. I do want to start with some fantastic quotes that I think, if you are involved in your weight loss journey, these might be some quotes that would be super encouraging to you. So here are some. When you're making your 24-hour plan, here's a quote that you can use. I love my body. What does my body love? So ask yourself that question as you are making your 24-hour plan. I love my body. What does my body love? Here's another question we can ask, or another statement we can say to ourselves as we are managing the urges that come up after we make the 24-hour plan, the urge to eat something that's off the plan. Just for today, I'm sticking to my 24-hour plan. Think about those thoughts. Those are powerful thoughts. And here's the last powerful thought that you can borrow. I would love to gift it to you. Every pound I lose, I'm losing for the last time. That is an amazing thought when you are involved in your weight loss journey with yourself, learning to love yourself. So I have an announcement today I wanted to share with you from a client that I got this morning. Let me find it. I won't mention this client's name, but she says, finally, I weigh 193.5 pounds. This is a big deal because it was what I weighed after bariatric surgery before my friend died, and I nonstop ate for a year. Now I'm back in a size 14 jeans. That's a win. So I asked her, what was making the difference now? What is the difference now? She says, I'm practicing taking care of myself so I can actually do more for others. Yay! That is exciting. That is the dream I have for my clients as their coach. So I want to thank that person for sending me that update. And I also want to give you another quote that I would like for you to take some time to think about. God loves us out of every false refuge. Now, what I have discovered for myself in my relationship with food and my relationship with my body was food was a refuge for me. But God loved me out of that false refuge. It was a false refuge. Did it take work? Absolutely. It took work to decide to think thoughts that served me and to think thoughts that motivated me to continue taking the action of loving my body and feeding it what it loved. So and it's an exciting journey, and those of you that are getting to know me, I want you to know that I've been where you are. I have had a very challenging relationship with food and with my body. But through the work that I've been trained in and through the work that I've done myself, I've transformed my relationship with food and with my body and a lot of other things. And now I get the privilege of coaching women and helping them do the same thing. So one of the things that happens when we make a plan, the plan, it's a 24-hour plan. One of the things that happens is we don't eat what's on the plan. Or if we eat it, we eat more than what we've planned. So what do we do when we find ourselves taking that action? That's what this tonight's topic is about. We're going to go from judgment, which is what I used to do. I'd say, what is wrong with you? You can't do this. You have no willpower. You're never going to figure this out. Changing from that judgment to turning it into compassion. And there are a couple of different techniques that I'd like to share with you tonight that will assist you as you do that. Because, you know, when we make 24-hour plans, there are going to be days when we don't eat what's on the plan. I'm going to write what's planned, or we eat more than what's on our plan. So how are we going to deal with that is one of the most important things we can do. And I'll tell you, in the past, I have heard myself say, oh, I might as well just eat more. Let me know, give me a hand up if you're watching this or if you're watching the replay, if you can relate to that, just giving in. It was the all or nothing mentality. I either follow this perfectly or I'm just gonna throw in the towel. I'll just eat anything. I'll just eat all of the things. That is what happens when we are working from our primal brain, our lower level brain. And it also happens when we start beating ourselves up because of what we have eaten, beating ourselves up because of the food that we've eaten, being unkind to ourselves because of the food that we've eaten. Think about that. That is not going to create positive actions in the future. So let's begin by, I want you to imagine taking off the judge's hat and putting on the food scientist hat, or the 24-hour plan hat. Take off the judge's hat that beats you up and put on the scientist's hat that asks, that's interesting that happened. I wonder what you were thinking, or I wonder what happened for you. That's a fantastic question to ask ourselves. So I'm going to erase the model here, and I'm going to show you one of my favorite techniques, and it's also part of what is in the, in the planner, that if you are in my membership or if you work together with me one-on-one, you get access to this planner. It's a monthly planner, and every day, it's a daily planner that lasts a month, I guess I should say. Over here on the Journal Without Judgment page, we're going to go through some of the steps. Only I'm going to simplify it just a little bit. And those of you that have that planner, feel free to make notes in it. So the first question we can ask ourselves when we find that we ate something that wasn't on our plan, or we find that we ate more than what was on our plan, the first thing you can ask yourself is, what worked? What did work? And that has to be the first step. It must be, in order to get our brain to work for us instead of against us. So I want you to list out on that day, and usually if you do this at the end of the day, it is that day, or if you do your journal without judgment the following day, then whatever happened yesterday, ask yourself, what worked? So one of the questions is, did you get your sleep? Did you get your 7 hours of sleep? Oh, check mark, that worked. Did you drink water? Even if you drank 1 glass of water, did you drink water? That is also something that worked. Are there things on your plan that you did follow through with? So you can put all of your follow through. And maybe you followed through at breakfast, check mark. Maybe you followed through at lunch, check mark. Maybe you followed through at dinner, check mark. And those are all things that did work. What did work? Okay, remembering also, did you do your thought work, which is available on the planner? There's lots of note-taking areas. Did you do that? Check mark. Okay, so that's the first step. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that did work. So that's what our science hat, our food scientist hat, is looking at. All of the evidence that did work, or all the data that did work. The next question, only after you've done all of this list, is what didn't work? That's the second question you can ask yourself. And then you list out, I ate brownie and it wasn't on plan. Okay, so what didn't work? I ate a brownie that wasn't on plan. There's 1 item here. There were 7 items here. Do you see what your primal brain does? When you notice yourself eating that brownie and it wasn't on your plan, your primal brain goes automatically to the negative, to beating up on you, to that fight or flight and that stress response. Just notice that. But when you use your prefrontal cortex and really look at the true data, you find out that there were many, many things that you did follow through on, and there was 1 thing that you didn't. Now you can go to the third question. What will I do differently next time? Okay, there's a lot of options. And now your brain is opened up to a lot more options rather than, oh, I ate a brownie, I blew it. That all or nothing. What if one of the things that you could do differently is plan a brownie on Wednesday night? I can plan a brownie. Or I can choose to eat half a brownie in the plan. Or I can ask myself, what was I thinking? And this is the second part of this. What was I thinking right before I ate the brownie? And get really, really curious. I notice sometimes when I eat things off plan, the thought that I'm having is, I want that. Just noticing that. That is your thought. Something else that you can ask yourself is, how much of the brownie did I eat? Did I eat the whole thing? Or did I eat half of it? Let's see if I can spell brownie correct. Okay. You can also look for patterns on the day on this day. As you were going through your day, you were following through on all of these things. What else was going on? Maybe you got some bad news, or maybe you had a really great day as far as productivity, and maybe it felt like a celebration to have that brownie. Just note that. Just notice that. That is when we take judgment and change it into curiosity. Isn't it interesting? For me, I notice when I've had a really good day are some of the days that I have the urge to have things that are off my plate out of a celebration. That connection of food and celebration has been patterned in me since I was a little kid. Of course that would be there. Then I can say, oh, you know what? When I notice I want to celebrate at the end of a day, what will I do differently next time? Oh, I might celebrate with a warm cup of tea. Or I might celebrate with a walk, a special walk out in the woods by my house. There's a lot of other ways that I can celebrate that are not brownies, right? So the first thing I could do differently is I can plan, and I can plan the amount. The second thing I can do differently is notice the pattern and plan in advance when I want to celebrate or when I feel really stressed. If it's been a long day, I can also have a plan for that. And maybe that includes curling up in my favorite sweater with my favorite blanket and having a book nearby that I love reading or that I'm excited to begin reading. Okay, so what will I do differently when we allow ourselves to trigger the endorphin response inside our brain rather than the stress response from beating ourselves up? When we take the judge's hat off and we put the curious scientist hat on and look for patterns, we can start working together with ourselves rather than fighting against ourselves. And it makes all of the difference. Just like my client said, when she learned that she wants to take care of herself instead of being nasty to herself. Some other questions that you can ask yourself is, did I try to resist the urge? You know, here's our urge jar. And those of you that aren't familiar with that, feel free to ask me a question, ask me to explain what that is. Did I try to resist it? Did I try to shut it in the closet and lock it in the closet? Or use like a beach ball, hold it underneath the water? Did I try to resist it? Or did I notice that I have that urge for a brownie? And then I ask myself, feel this urgency to have this brownie. Where do I feel that in my body? I feel it in my mouth. I also feel it kind of in my chest area. It feels really constricting, like it's urgent. Notice what it feels like, and notice also that it takes about 90 seconds to 3 minutes to allow that urge to be there without pushing it away. And it's just like it dissolves. It rinses out of my system. And take a drink of water to celebrate the urge rinsing out. Now that tastes so good. It actually tastes better than the brownie would have. Something else you can ask yourself as you are noticing the urge and you're asking yourself, what will I do differently? Is think about the reaction that your body has after you've had a brownie. Many times I just feel really, really sick. I get a headache. I get a brain fog. I feel my digestion feels really sluggish. And I can ask myself at that time, okay, I can feel that way, or I can be willing to allow the urge to process through my body. There's no wrong choice. It's just allowing yourself to learn from both choices. And then the last question is, and it's involved in this, what would I do differently? What did I learn? Ask yourself that question. What did I learn? I learned in the past that when I have a brownie, I'm probably going to get a headache. When I have a brownie, I'm going to have a brain fog for probably the rest of that day. Thankfully, the more water I drink, the more I can diffuse that brain fog. So taking off the judge hat and putting on the curious scientist hat is one of the most powerful ways we can learn to manage when we do eat off plan, because it is going to happen. There are going to be times that we do decide to eat off plan. We can beat ourselves up, or we can be curious and gentle and create awareness inside our bodies. So this is exciting for me to get to share with you. I'm so glad that you are listening in, and those of you that are watching this on the replay, make sure you ask me any questions that you have, because with that feedback, I can help you practice new ways of dealing with eating the food that's off of our plan. I also want to let you know, those that are listening in, maybe for the first time, or maybe those of you that haven't ever worked together with me, I do have a membership. It's called Fit in Your Faith, and we meet together. I deliver online teaching, and it does include our relationship with food. Each month I have a new teaching, but if you want to focus on your relationship with food, you can stay in that first module and the core modules, which has to do with our thinking and our standing as a beloved child of God. So if you are interested in more information about that membership, I'd be happy to share that with you. You can private message me, or you can just say, tell me more, and then I'll get in touch with you privately. I also want to let you know, those of you that are thinking about the membership, that if you have a health flexible spending account, FSA benefits through your insurance, there are some insurance companies that do allow weight loss memberships, massage memberships, herbal supplements from natural doctors. Those things are covered through your membership. So if you do have a flexible spending account through your insurance, let me know, and I can send you a note, and you can ask your insurance company if a membership in a weight loss program or a weight loss membership would be covered by your insurance or by your FSA program. I would be thrilled to help you find out more information about that. And that is such exciting news for our insurance companies to start using those FSA benefits to help pay for a membership where you can learn to lose weight in a way that you will continue doing it, that you will want to continue doing it, just like my client said, by learning how to love yourself well so that you can take care of others even better. I'm so excited to get to share this together with you. Let me know if you have any questions. So I do want to let you know that when we move into the month of September, which I can't believe it's coming already, we are going to dive into our relationship with ourself, our relationship with our emotions, our relationship with our thoughts, and our relationship with the way we speak, especially to ourselves, about ourselves, and within ourselves. So I'm looking forward to that, because that foundation of who we are in Christ, and really getting to know that you are valued, you are accepted, 100% accepted in the beloved. If we start there, we can begin making the changes that we want. Scripture tells us, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I firmly believe that losing weight and regaining health and well-being is one of those things that we can do through Christ. So I'd be thrilled to get together, to work together with you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great evening.